Prologue. January 1864. That's the first month of the year. Ah, that's me, Kiyukimura. So this is Kyoto. It was awfully impressive. There was no denying it. Even the simple hellos between people passing in the street seemed warm and friendly. They nodded and smiled to one another, almost as if they were family, not strangers about on errands. Still, there was something else as well, something that made the city feel strangely cold, almost as though there was a great invisible wall shutting out anyone who wandered in from the country. It wasn't particularly comfortable, I had to admit. No, that's all in my head. I had walked quite some distance to reach Kyoto, and it occurred to me that my mind and body were both very tired. Even so, tiredness was no reason for me to stand out about feeling sorry for myself. I couldn't afford to, after all. Excuse me. With new, albeit forced resolve, I tried to stop a passerby. I'm sorry, but I seem to be a bit lost. Could you? What am I supposed to do now? I was lost again, but in a different sort of way. I sighed and found myself looking up at the darkened sky. The sun was beginning to set. The sun is setting in the sky. Teletubbies, say goodbye. I don't know. I had that thought in my head. Okay. Focus. The people I'd spoken to hadn't been unkind, and they'd given me the directions I'd needed, but couldn't he have chosen a better time to leave the city? Apart from my father, there was only one other person in the city who I could rely on, Dr. Matsumoto. Dr. Matsumoto was a doctor in service to the shogunate. I have never met him myself, but my father put a great deal of trust in the man. My dad trusts him. I guess I should trust him too, right? Yep. He had told me that if I should run into any trouble during his absence, I was to contact Dr. Matsumoto. And now I'm lost. Where are you, Matsumoto? Help me, please. Unfortunately, Dr. Matsumoto was apparently out of town on business and would not return for some time. Was I too hasty? Perhaps I should have waited. Oh, no, we're not going to put this on me. I didn't do anything wrong. True. It is rather rude to visit unannounced. No, we're not going to, it's not my fault. We're not going to put this on me. True, it is rather rude to visit unannounced, which was why I had sent a letter ahead of me. Of course, if he'd been gone for very long, then he had almost certainly not read my letter. Well then. Perhaps I thought I should have waited for a reply before traveling alone in a city I'd never even seen. You know what? Yeah, that was pretty stupid of me. I shouldn't have just sent a letter, expected him to get it, and then made my way downtown walking fast. I shouldn't have did that. That was stupid. Yeah, it's my fault. But it's too late. I'm here now, and I'm lost, and I need help. No, I knew I could not have waited any longer. Oh, I couldn't have? But why not, though? Key. Is something wrong, Father? He paused for a moment and looked at me. It seems I must go to the city of Kyoto for a time. Work again? He had been leaving the house often then, sometimes for days at a time. How long will you be going? I'm afraid I can't say. A month perhaps, maybe 2, maybe 3, who knows? Oh. There was no hiding my disappointment. Nonetheless, I wasn't a child anymore. I couldn't beg him not to go, or some other foolishness. Yes, I'd be lonely, but I was much more worried for him. Please, Father, be careful. They say that the city of Kyoto is dangerous. He only smiled and nodded. You needn't fret. I will be sure to send you letters as often as I am able, so that you don't need to worry. Be happy. Don't worry. Be happy. Okay. You promise? Everything's gonna be okay. Father kept his promise, like a good father, yeah. A new letter arrived every day, and I scarcely had the time to respond before another would arrive. He told me that he worried about me, home all by myself. Then the letter stopped. Oh, and the letter stopped. Then the letter stopped. A whole month passed with no word from my father, and I began to worry. I began to worry. I was no longer happy. Father, they say Kyoto is full of Ronin. It's not a safe place. Usually a samurai is paid by their house, but Ronin, no house to report to, often rob people in order to make ends meet. They're nothing more than violent criminals who hide behind the image of the samurai. Such is the state of the city of Kyoto, the city of Ronin. Small wonder then that I worried for my father's safety. My mind would concoct horrible possibilities, and I inevitably found myself depressed and tense. First, I suppose, I need to find a place to stay. Lost in thought, I hadn't noticed that night had already fallen. If I was honest with myself, I hadn't the first idea how long it might take to find my father. I'd taken some money with me, but it wasn't much. Enough to last me a month, I hoped, if I used it wisely. If I could find father in that time, so much the better. If not, hopefully Dr. Matsumoto would return before my funds ran out. Should I be unable to find either of them, then it seemed I would be forced to return home. Well, at any rate, I should try and be as frugal as possible. So I lengthened my stride and set off down the street. Fortunately for me, men's clothing was much more conducive to such a pace than my usual dress would have been. I had decided early on that Kyoto was far too dangerous for a girl from the country to explore alone, and that it would be wise for me to dress like a man, or at least a boy. That's right. We cross-dressing. My disguise, such as it was, had proven successful, and I had made it all the way to Kyoto unmolested. Perhaps that success had gone to my head. Let me think a girl dressed as a boy could explore Kyoto as she pleased. But Kyoto is not a safe place. Should have remembered that. Instead, I had somehow convinced myself that whatever dangers the city hid didn't apply to me. Oh no. Hey, kid. I was about to discover otherwise. Eh? I spun around in the street. In front of me were 3 men, Ronin. Ooh. Can I help you? Did my best to keep my voice as calm as I reached in what I felt was a nonchalant way for my Kadachi. My father had made me take lessons in self-defense. I kept with them and actually done rather well. My skill was enough to defend against most attacks. And again, perhaps it was my confidence in my skill that had put me in a situation in the first place. I'm not the smartest, am I? I messed up and let my guard down. My fault. There was a chance I could have taken them on and win, but there were 3 of them and 1 of me. pretty nice blade you got there, kid. Only then did I realize they were far more interested in my sword than they were in me. All right, you can have it. I'm out of here. Just let me go. You can have my sword. Take the money. I don't care. I'm out of here. Looks like a bit much for a pup like this one. Am I right? Sir, you can have it. I do not want it. I no longer wish to be here. I wish to leave. Give it here, okay? We'll use it to defend our country. That is fine. That is fine. I see no issue with that. You take it. Good day to you, sir. But this is... Oh, I'm not just going to give the sword up? Oh, okay. The sword wasn't just some blade I'd picked up. It had been passed down through my family for generations. There was no way I could give it to the Ronin. I mean, if they kill you, then what choice do you... You know what? Whatever. Unfortunately, I had a feeling they wouldn't understand. Exactly. In such a situation, the best decision was undoubtedly to retreat. And so I turned and ran as fast as my legs would carry me. Hey, get back here, you little... Gosh, they sure don't give up easily, do they? I felt like I've been running for quite a while, but I could still hear the Ronin behind me, cursing loudly. I ducked into an alley, flattened myself against the wall, like a pancake. Pancake. More of a waffle person. Whatever. I take a frozen waffle over a pancake, but okay, but focus. After deciding they weren't too close, I crept farther into the alley. Someone had left a couple sheets of wood leaning against one of the houses. It was a perfect spot to hide. With luck, I thought as I knelt down to shuffle under them, this will get me out of this mess. Huh? Something was wrong. I'd expected to hear the Ronin yelling to each other, looking for me, but seconds turned into minutes, and I heard nothing. I was about to sneak out and have a look when... They began to scream. Was it for ice cream? I don't think so. What? Huh? My plan to investigate was immediately halted. Remaining silent and hidden was clearly more important. I ain't going out there. Still. Darn you. What is this? Why won't you die? Dang it all. We gotta get out of here. It was then that true fear began to set in. There was something out there. Something very, very dangerous. Something quite possibly lethal. The possibilities were, well, my imagination conjured up no shortage of gruesome theories. Aliens, monsters, who knows? Even so, I could feel that itch of curiosity. Wanted to know what was out there. Slowly, carefully, I edged up to the corner and looked out. Cold moonlight glared back at me from the bare blade of a drawn sword. My eyes followed the blade up to the arm that held it, clad in a coat of light blue. Had this person saved me? But no sooner had it appeared, that hope was dashed. Help! I could hear the Ronin beg for his life as he stumbled back. The person in the blue cloak said nothing, just stepped forward, his sword raised. A high, screeching laugh cut through the man's scream. The blade fell through the air, more like a butcher's cleaver than a sword. No technique, no skill, just death. The scream turned suddenly wet, caught, and disappeared like air leaving a half-empty bellows. My eyes went wide. I had just watched a murder. Whatever strength adrenaline had given me was suddenly gone. My legs gave way, and I crumpled to the ground. My eyes had gone so wide, I thought they might never close. The Ronin had died with the first blow, but as I watched, the blades kept falling, carving deep lines into the corpse. The soft slip of a blade through flesh, the crack as it struck bone, the silent creep of blood across the ground. I felt nothing from them but madness. Madness? This is Sparta! No, I'm stupid. Okay. Their only desire was raw animal violence. Whatever they were, it wasn't human. They were broken. I could feel my throat closing up. I couldn't breathe. A warm, dark smell brushed against my face. It took me a moment to recognize the coppery tang of blood. An icy bolt of fear ran down my spine, crawling its way out into my limbs and freezing me in place. I was terrified. What was I gonna do? What could I do? You have to run, Key. I forced my jaw open and drew a ragged breath. This was the only chance I'd get. I had to. But my body, still numb with fear, was less than responsive. Stupid body. I lurched sideways into the wood stacked against the building. With a rough clatter, it collapsed. The creatures turned, their blue coats drenched in blood. Hideous grins split their inhuman faces, and they shook with animal excitement at finding fresh prey to slaughter. I had to run. I couldn't die yet, but my legs refused to move. That hideous, cackling laughter began again. I was gonna die. My body was frozen with terror. I couldn't even scream. This was it. This was the end. My friend. What? I watched them raise their bloody swords, the moon glinting off the metal. And then there was a flash of light and a soft splash of blood. I could feel it, warm and sticky. Need a bath after this? Bile began to rise in my throat, but before disgust took hold, I heard a voice. Hello, handsome. Really? The words suggested disappointment, but the voice sounded happy. And here I was planning to take care of them all on my own. Couldn't you have picked another day to work so fast, Saito? I just realized something. I've been reading all of the dialogue, but this game has like voice acting in it. So I'm wondering, like, I'm starting to think that maybe I let them do their voice acting and I just read my dialogue. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. As he spoke, the strange man smiled, almost as if he were enjoying himself. Hello, Saito. He laughed. Yeah. The man called Saito's side with the air of a long-suffering companion and looked over at me. Howdy.
でもさ、あいつらがこの子を殺しちゃうまで黙って見てれば、僕たちの手間も省けたのかな。
Real messed up, man. It's real messed up. His tone was light, but his words confirmed my fears. I had left the frying pan, yes, but I was now in the fire.
さあな、少なくともその判断は俺たちが下すべきものではない。
Huh? Then there was perhaps someone in change of these two? There was a change and there I can't read. Then there was someone in charge of these two. I thought it said change. It says charge, whatever. Their conversation seemed to suggest they were part of an organization of some sort. As I thought about it, I remembered hearing stories of a group of men with blue coats. Ah. My thoughts were interrupted by a dark shape sliding into view. Oh? I swallowed hard. Ooh. The moonlight shone off his smooth dark hair for reasons I couldn't fathom. In that moment, the light on his hair made me think of fluttery flower petals, almost as if the cherry trees were blooming out of season. Why am I thinking that he's about to kill me? What a dumb thought to have. Luck is not my friend. I sure wish I was Nagito right now. His voice was cold and quiet, like a blade of ice. Blood-white moonlight lit his slender face and shone from the blade he held pointed at my chest. But it wasn't the sword that made my rough catch it in its throat, in my throat, whatever that said. Whatever, I can read, it's fine. It was his eyes. They were fierce and hard, but somewhere behind them I could catch a glimpse of something else. There could be no doubt that he was prepared to kill me, and yet he looked troubled, as he should. You should be troubled. You shouldn't want to kill me. I've done nothing wrong. Not kindness, perhaps mercy? I mean, if mercy is the thing that makes you not kill me, then by all means, mercy. Loud and clear, man. I hear you loud and clear. I nodded. There was no doubt he meant every word he said. He stared at me for a moment, then grimaced, and with a sigh, put his sword away. You ain't gotta worry about me running. What? What? I was too surprised to stop myself from speaking, and it quickly became apparent that I wasn't the only one.
あれ？いいんですか、土方さん。この子、さっきの見ちゃったんですよ。
No, it's fine. I mean, I could unsee it. I could pretend I saw nothing. I'm good at that. I didn't see anything. I wasn't even here. I mean, seriously. As he spoke to the man he'd called Hijikata, his eyes narrowed. The man called Hijikata frowned back at him. I wasn't quite sure what they meant, but it was clear enough that what I'd seen was something they wanted to keep hidden. And yeah, they wanted to keep it hidden. They didn't want me to see it. Like I'll pretend I didn't see anything. End of story. I'm not gonna tell anybody what I saw. Even if I did, they wouldn't believe me. Still, the more they said, the more I understood, despite the fact that none of us wanted such a thing. Hijikata, I think you need to shut up. That's what I think. If you want my opinion. The way he looked at me made me feel as though he'd read my mind. Perhaps it would be best if I didn't think too hard about things I wasn't supposed to think about. Yep, I know nothing. I'm not even here. Yeah, that's right, Hijikata. Wait. Wait, I think I'm getting their names mixed up. Wait, Hijikata is the one that's saying, don't kill me. And then the other guy is... What's his name? I got their names mixed up. Hijikata is the one that doesn't want to kill me. I got their names mixed up. Oh. The man they'd called Saito spoke with quiet confidence. He glanced around, possibly looking for other witnesses that he would probably kill. Then he looked down at the creature he'd killed, almost as though he'd forgotten the whole ordeal. He peered down at the corpse, his face on an emotionless mask. When he looked back up at his companions, however, his eyes narrowed. Look, it don't matter if y'all keeping a high profile or a low profile. Y'all don't gotta worry about me. I'm not gonna tell anybody. I didn't see nothing. I wasn't here. I know how to keep a secret. He was right. Even I had heard stories about a gang of cruel men in blue coats who cut people down in the streets, but I can unhear it just as easily. I can unhear it. But no, don't think. Ignore them. Ignore them. I did my best to be stern with myself, but it came out sounding more pleading than commanding. My mind swirled with thoughts and worries. I was being drawn into their world. A world where there is nothing strange in carrying on a normal conversation in the dead of night with corpses for company. Hijikata thought for a moment before he spoke. He gave a derisive bark of laughter. He looked directly at me when he spoke, and I got the distinct feeling that his words weren't for his companions. Yo, I'm not gonna tell anybody nothing. It was common for people to be murdered in Kyoto. It was a dangerous city after all. I knew that, of course. But to see it happen, that was something else entirely. But I could unsee it. I'm telling you, I wasn't here. I didn't see nothing. I didn't see anything. I didn't see nothing. Nada. If death was such an easy thing in Kyoto, I thought then the city itself must surely be mad.
ねえ、ところでさ、助けてあげたのにお礼の一つもないの?
Ain't you the one that wanted to kill me? I don't think I should be thanking you. I should be thanking Hijikata and others, but not you, because you wanted to kill me. The heck with you. Huh? I didn't realize immediately that he was speaking to me. When I did, my eyes went wide. What do you mean you saved me? Well, he did have a point. Despite their threats, they had saved my life. I feel like he was making the most threats. The others, I don't know, they didn't really want to see. I feel like the others was a bit more sympathetic and they didn't want to kill me. But this dude right here was like, yeah, we should just kill him. I stood up as steadily as I could manage, brushed off some of the dirt off my clothes, and bowed. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I turned into Elvis. Thank you very much. I apologize for not thanking you earlier. There was so much going on. I was a little confused. I glanced up at them tentatively. The man called Saito was showing some confusion of his own. His eyes were wide, and he had an expression I couldn't place. Hijikata, though, looked as though he'd taken a bite of something sour. I mean, I know it seems weird to say that, but he told me I should say thanks, so I looked up. Saito and Hijikata were both looking pointedly at anything but me, and the third man was shaking with laughter. Yeah, he was shaking with laughter. Yeah.
ごめんごめん。そうだよね。僕が言ったんだもんね。
Yeah, you did tell me. He broke out in laughter again, so much so that he was forced to wipe a few tears from his eyes as he straightened up. I don't see anything funny about this situation, but whatever.
どういたしまして。僕は起きた掃除と
Ah,
言います。
Soji,
礼儀
Okita.
正しい子は嫌いじゃないよ。
Not so nice to meet you. You wanted to kill me. Thank you for helping me, I guess. Not sure what else to do. I'm about again. So where do we go from here?
わざわざ自己紹介してんじゃねえよ。
副長、お気持ちはわかりますが、まず移動を。
Whatever mirth I might have inspired Gon, the man called Saito spoke with quite urgency. Hijikata nodded. The man who called himself Okita grabbed hold of my wrist, gave me a smile, and began to lead me down the street. Be gentle, I'm fragile. His grip was a touch too light to be friendly. His fingers like iron cables around my... Oh, it was a touch too tight, not light. His grip was a touch too tight to be friendly. His fingers like iron cables around my arm. There was no question about this situation. My situation. If I ran, I would die. Quickly, at least, but still. Even if I did as I was told, my life was in the hands of these strange men. I set my jaw and stood up as straight as I could. My eyes met those of Saito as he looked up from the blood-stained coat.
己のために最悪を想定しておけ。刺していいようには転ばない。
Saito, I thought we was cool. Like, I thought Okita was the one I had to be concerned about, not you, Saito. You want to kill me too? Dang, there's no hope for me, huh? His words were like a dagger in my stomach. What was gonna happen to me? Was I gonna die? As we walked through the cold Kyoto night, I felt horror begin to crawl its way up my spine again. The cause of my horror wasn't the gruesome end that almost certainly awaited me, but something else entirely. I'd spoken with these men and watched them speak to one another, not feet from a still warm corpse soaked in blood. That I had done such a thing terrified me in an altogether different way. Perhaps I thought this is what it is like to go mad. Chapter 1. Oh, right, that was all the prologue. Still January 1864. Still at the beginning of the year.